Hi, I'm Karen Sutherland from Edible Eden, and we're going to do a little demonstration on planting a grape. Now, we look at our pot. This is a pre-prepared hole. We've already matticked it and dug it with a couple of very good assistants. Lots of rocks here. Now, this is a tad dry, so never plant a dry plant. So we're just going to give that some water and let it, that's a bit of grey water, we don't mind about that. Let it settle and drain while we just get out, we can use a shovel even. We're trying not to mix, when you make the hole, any not fully decayed material. That's really important. So we don't want that bark in there, or those leaves, or any green stuff, because it can rot the roots of the plant. So this hole's already been dug, especially when you've got heavy soil. Don't dig any deeper than the plant root size, but you dig about twice as wide. So you scoop that out. Now, one little hint is to get some water saving crystals. Now, not everybody likes these, but I and other gardening friends who I respect really do. You can first of all rehydrate these with water, but I would just take a really tiny amount. You really only need a pinch, and sprinkle it in the bottom of the hole. And that acts as a water reservoir, and that's not necessary this year, but this lasts for years, and in other years it is. So what you're doing is keeping a plant alive that has been grown for many, many years to get it to this stage. And so yes, it is a tiny pinch of plastic, but it's an insurance policy against your plant dying, which when you plant in bushland and in blocks with no irrigation, it's really important. So we support the plant, give it a bit of a tap. Sometimes you have to tap quite a lot. This has got a really nice root ball. It's still a little bit dry. In this situation, we can also just plunge it in the water for a minute and let it really soak. And this is just a way of getting the water into the root ball more. And there's a few bubbles coming up, and that indicates that the root ball is absorbing more water. So ideally we do this for a few minutes, or you can even do it overnight, and you can use diluted seaweed solution for this too, because seaweed solution is a bit of a tonic for plants. It's not so much a fertilizer, but it's a tonic, and it has natural growth hormones, not the unnatural ones. It has natural growth hormones that grows in seaweed, and so that assists the plant to take off. So it's really good to prevent what we call transplant shock. So drain it out a bit. Now we tip it out. Oh, that looks much better. Now, what we want to do, if the pot didn't have lines, which are called root training, or in root training pots, it's really important to do some root pruning before you plant your plant, and that enables the roots to get out into the surrounding ground as quickly as possible. So first of all, with a small plant like this, we can just hold it in our hands. We just clip off the bottom. It only has to be 1/2 centimetre in a 150ml or 6-inch pot like this. And I don't like the fluffing, teasing of the roots. And a nursery woman who I was working for years ago said to me, no, you should be cutting with a knife, or I like to use these nice long snips that we sell on our website. But look, we sell them because we use them, and
because they're so good.
They're so good.
They
exactly.
are so good.
Yeah, we've used them for so many years. Now, then we use these lovely long snips, and secateurs are not good for this. There's 2 reasons. One is they've got a really short snout, so to speak, so they're not meant for doing this. And the other thing is you should never cut roots with your secateurs. Bad, because you will wreck the sharpness of your blades. So these are for soil. So we clip, or they're for foraging as well, but we clip about 1/2 centimetre in, and for this 150ml size pot, also called 6 inches, we only need to do 2 little snips. And that's the same for smaller 100ml pots as well. When you get up to 8-inch or 200ml pots, you can do 3 slits in like a piece configuration, piece sign. And as you get bigger than that, you just do 4 slits. And it really, really helps. So now we level the soil. We pop the plant in. So it's going to be, the top of the root ball is going to be at ground level. Now it's going to be not quite at ground level, so we'll pop a little bit more in so that we get the right height. If you're planting into really wet soil, you can mound up slightly, or if it's soil that's going to get high rainfall all the time. If you're planting into an area where you're going to normally, not in these wet years of the last couple of years, 2022 and 21, or those couple of years, then when it's normally dry, then planting a little bit deeper is a good thing because it's just going to capture that little bit of extra rainfall. So now what we can do is, well, it's not that great to put your fingers into the root water-saving crystals. You can just use something dry and just put a bit of a sprinkle in, and that's an extra guarantee. Now those water-saving crystals, 1 teaspoon I think makes about a whole glass or so with water. Like it'll swell up a lot. So don't be putting a big tablespoon. Don't think more is better underneath your plants or they'll pop out of the ground. So then all our soil's already broken up. We start filling in around the root ball. So a little bit deeper is what I've chosen to do because it's normally not very wet here. I've cleared an area, oh, not so much. It's good to clear another area to put your soil you've dug out in because it means that you've got somewhere clean to put your dug out soil. You break up those mounds, then you press around the root ball, never on it, to get rid of the air pockets. And then you water your little baby in. We're doing a bit of grape planting, Nanny. And then you can use your dug up grass as a little basin for your plant. That's a good idea too. Now you can see there's some roots exposed, so we do a little bit more topping up of the soil. Just make sure there's enough, and ideally you should put some mulch around that as well, so we'll get some mulch.
I'll go and grab some.
Oh,
just some grass mulch?
Anything really.
Yep.
But you can use this upside down as a little edging. And that helps to hold a bit of extra moisture. And then say, grow a little plant. And hopefully it grows and gives us lots of grapes. So here's our little plant. It's got a bit of mulch. Grapes aren't too bad, but you generally don't want to pile up because they've got a tough stem, but you don't want to pile up around a younger grape any mulch because you can cause collar rot, especially citrus are prone to that. And you don't even really have to remove many leaves of the grapes because it's going to photosynthesize with whatever's left because this is early autumn we're planting. And early autumn's a good time to plant deciduous fruit plants from pots because then they'll settle in just a little bit before winter. And then they'll lose their leaves. And if they start to lose their leaves and feel stressed, don't worry about it. Or look stressed, don't worry. It's natural for them to lose their leaves. They'll just have an early winter and that's fine, and then they'll kick off next spring.